I pull up, roll the window down it. I pull up, roll the window down it. Yeah, I pull up, roll the window down it.
Baby, you don't know what you do to me. Between me and you, I feel like chemistry. I won't let no one come and take your place. Cause the love you give, you can't
Hi, hotties, kettles, tea stirs. You're here for hot tea. All commentary is alleged, and in my opinion, this is for entertainment purposes only. Per you guys' request, a lot of you guys wanted me to put together this debunkture regarding Libido the Mule. Because in one of my last videos where I did the recap, I was speaking about how I'm not necessarily disappointed in Libido the Mule because we don't necessarily expect anything from her. She's not going to be the matriarch. She's not going to add any value to any of the conversation. She's not going to speak up for women and be transparent about the real depths of being a woman and womanhood. I'm actually shocked at how open she is in displaying her male identified mindset. And I speak so open and heavily about this topic because it is my opinion that women like Libido the Mule can be a big danger to womanhood and what it is that we are building for ourselves and the strides that we are taking. Because when you have a woman, a male identified woman on a platform like Love and Marriage Huntsville, where she is continuing to allow these negative, nasty narratives of women to circulate without actually opening her mouth and being the voice for some of the nonsense that some of these men are throwing out there for the sake of being validated by those men, can be very dangerous. A lot of women watch these shows, and some women actually are inspired by these women, whether that is Melody, Letitia, and I don't know how, or Kimmi. People do find similarities in these women and are or can be inspired by them, whether we understand it or not. And we don't. So when you take a woman like Libido the Mule at her big age and put her on a platform like Love and Marriage Huntsville so ignorantly as she sits in a marriage with a man that continues to basically disrupt her spirit, where we as viewers have to watch her align herself with this nonsense that we know is hurting her in the inside. It's one thing to mule it out with your cancer hunter, but it's a whole nother thing to have a certain level of vitriol and nastiness toward other women who choose not to accept that. And that's only my problem. Accept what you accept, but do not come for women that will not accept that trash and that chooses to speak out. Because you know that there are issues within this marriage. To be in a marriage with someone who don't understand the value of through sickness and through health, who expects you to turn around and bend over and take it even though you're battling cancer, it's not necessarily about the words, because I know you guys are going to be stuck on that. Oh, he worded it wrong. Oh, he shouldn't have worded it like that. It's the mere expectation that he has, that thought in his mind as you are working on your health. So it's no way you're going to be able to beat our perception of you all. And we know you guys don't care, which is why you're working overtime to, I guess, try to make it a point to stick together and rock out. And we really don't care. Okay, we just want to use you guys' relationship as a tool to discuss what not to motherfucking do. That being said, let's get into it. I've put together clips of Kimmi clearly not being able to align herself for the greater good of womanhood. And when she sat back and questioned Stormi as far as the Mel and her baby mama situation, asking, does it make it right just because Walkie Talkie cheated? Does it make it right for Mel to then leave him, move out into an apartment, and start dating? I thought that was a very wicked and interesting approach, considering everything that we know Walkie Talkie has done, because we can also say the same for Walkie Talkie. Just because you feel like Mel has babysitters, does it make it right for you to take her to court for full custody of her children because she needs people to watch her children because you ruining you guys' union? Even though we know Mel never had 20 babysitters, it's the fact that she continues to give all of this grace to Walkie Talkie, but she couldn't extend this same grace to Mel. It was very interesting how they used her taking a break from them in filming or not really contacting them that often as a means to say that Mel isn't a good friend when she was literally going through one of the hardest times of her life in that moment, which was the demise of her family. Throughout this process, knowing what we knew about Walkie Talkie, letting that girl get pregnant multiple times and giving her abortions, and then her finally getting pregnant after him being in an affair with her for over 2 years. We saw Kimmi continue to give Mel's baby mama grace by going on every interview that she could to make sure she said that Walkie Talkie was a good guy. And I don't know, maybe I'm tripping, but I don't remember an interview where Libido the Mule made sure to say, but you know, Mel is a great mother. I don't understand that, and I don't want to speak on that, but Mel is a great mother, and she doesn't deserve that, nor does any woman. Because that's my position. I kind of look at it as no matter what you feel like you like within Mel or don't like within Mel, once it get to a level to where a man is trying to take a motherfucking woman's kids from her, that's where I draw the line. I don't give a damn if I like this woman or not. To see a man trying to take a woman's kids from her, as a woman, I feel like is where majority of us come together and hold hands, because that is one of the nastiest things a man could ever do to a woman. And I'm not talking about any woman. Like, bitch, if you deserve to get your kids taken away from you, you deserve to get your motherfucking kids taken away from you. I'm talking about good mothers, right? I'm talking about Kimmi was firsthand witness to this woman being a good mother, being a good businesswoman, being a good wife. And because she didn't prioritize sex amongst everything else, it's almost as if they were trying to literally blame her. Or it seems as though Kimmi felt like she deserved it. But again, we never got any encouraging words coming out of Kimmi's mouth. She consistently aligned herself with Walkie Talkie in the things that he was doing. She even uttered out of her mouth that it was wrong for Mel to expose her husband in that way. And I thought that was even interesting when that episode came out, because if a man cheats on you, why not tell your story? And what is it in our community to where we have to continue to protect these raggedy ass fucking men? And that is y'all problem. And this is one of the problems that I talk about within our community, about the men in our community being overly nurtured and overly coddled. Y'all coddling y'all sons to where they grow up as grown ass men and expect women to protect them. And that's flawed. That is not a woman's job. And it is not your job as a woman to protect a man. And if you have the mindset that you have to put on your motherfucking linebacker gear and you have to put on your bulletproof vest and jump in front of a man to save him, ho, you're gonna forever have a bad fucking life. And that's just my opinion. It's the gall to think that it is another woman's job to protect a man that isn't protecting her. And because you don't protect a man that isn't protecting you, you are some sort of the problem. I think that's baffling, and I think that's something that we need to stop teaching in our communities. Because one thing that I know that is consistent that I've seen when it comes to dealing with you all, whether you guys know it or not, and I'm just saying you all in general terms, if you're not this person, you shouldn't be offended. But if this strikes you, then you are probably the person that I'm speaking of. And that's the thirst for a decent man. And it's so unfortunate that it's such a lack in our community to where when you guys see a minor, decent man, everybody becomes a coach in trying to teach the woman on how to make sure she keeps him. And in order to have that mindset, you're putting this man on a pedestal. And that is what we hear so much of Kimmi when she talks about Cancer Hunter. He is literally the lowest tier man I've ever seen in my life. But for whatever reason, anytime she speaks on him, she's comparing him to a god. And I think that is disturbing. It's disturbing as fuck, actually. And I just don't understand how you guys put these men on these pedestals and you guys give birth. You create life. That is the most godliest trait of them all. But too many people look at these men as if they are a prize and a priority. And I think that's the issue. When more women can see themselves as the prize and the priority, men can operate in that manner. If you groveling trying to compete and fight over these men, I mean, you're going to get what you get. Beggars can't be choosers, love. So y'all check out these clips and y'all let me know what you think. There has been many instances where Kimmi could have clearly taken the woman's side, because not only does it make the most sense, but it literally makes the fucking most sense. I'm sorry. I just don't understand her position when it comes to walkie-talkie. I don't understand her position when it came to the name change ceremony. I didn't understand her position when it came to Mel being bougie. I didn't understand her position when it came to her not understanding how a man could not give you... It's a lot of things that I just don't understand when it comes to her position. I just don't understand her position as a whole. But with that being said, I would like to say that Kimmi is not a chosen woman. She's a beggar, okay? Which is why she was in a relationship with the man for 7 years before he married her at her big grown age. Not only was she in a relationship with a man for 7 years before he chose to put a ring on her finger at her big grown age, the man that she chose was married still. So not only did you choose a man that waited 7 years to put a ring on your finger at your big grown age, not to say that is the end all be all, but what the fuck we wasting time on if we ain't getting assets, okay? I don't understand why we wasting time with men that ain't trying to let's get it together, all right? Let's get it together, okay? But at that big grown age, not only did you get a man that you waited 7 years to marry, but you got a man that was still involved with another woman. Sweetie. Love. Pudding. So I need y'all to understand, my next video is going to be about Kimmi and Maurice trying to play in our face with their storyline and trying to gain sympathy. And I know it's going to feel like I am on Kimmi's ass. And I am. But for good reasons. Y'all get in the comments. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit the post notification bell so you guys are up to date each and every time that I upload.
Like people say, no matter what, you shouldn't cheat.
Don't do it.
She still cheated.
You did.
God damn, y'all win. What's wrong with y'all?
Y'all shouldn't cheat.
I can't win. A man cannot win. I got you.
Nothing else matters.
It does matter.
So once one spouse cheats, everything after
That
that
could have been done.
Hold on. Listen to this.
Question. Once one spouse cheats, everything after that is fair game.
Yeah, if it feel like it's done. If it feel like it's done, yeah. Oh, hey y'all. Look at sexy. Come on down here now. You like my girl with these glasses on. Just being a smart ass. Did you never try to like talk him into like your spot or your angles or nothing?
Well, y'all all heard, including the world, hear her.
Mel, did you cheat on him too? Please give me the goddamn answer. I'm sick of his ass.
Only time I talked to anybody was when I went with Mark. Only time I talked to anybody was when I went with Mark. Only time I talked to anybody was when I went with Mark. Only time I talked to anybody was when I went with Mark. Only time I talked to anybody was when I went with Mark. Only time I talked to anybody was when I went with Mark. Only time I talked to anybody was when I went with Mark. Tell no more, and I never went back. Next question.
That's it.
Y'all good?
Yeah, I asked her. Right on goddamn camera, did she cheat on?
Tell you, that's when you need to
it.
correct
Right.
it to be a 50
Because I had many years where I felt unprotected.
And it's a bad feeling.
So you welcome to my world.
Remember I said Melody was a little bit extra? She still is. How y'all been?
Good. Man, I mean, right now, she's like the happiest she's been in a long time. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, that's good.
So that's effort that I'm putting in, that she's putting in as well.
Why she's the happiest, seems like she's the unhappiest.
She's the side chick. Don't even say her name.
I'm not gonna call her a side chick. And we don't have to talk about it. But I'm just saying it's unfortunate that so many different people are like collateral damage. I don't feel like at this juncture, oh, that's what she deserves. Mel don't deserve it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
To be hurt and sad and embarrassed or any of that.
Yes.
So nobody deserves it as a human. Nobody deserves it.
Except for me. You know, I think I put everybody through this by trying to be greedy and things of that nature. You know what I'm talking about?
You don't sound like you're placing blame. You own what happened. You say, I'm sorry, it's time to move on. In my opinion, you're just a nice guy, Martell.
Yeah.
Maybe too nice. Maybe that's what got you in trouble.
I'm gonna take it. You know, Mel and I, we talked about that, and that's what she said.
I typically say Martell has a big heart, and he does. I think that's what causes him a lot of his angst. And he thinks with his heart, and like he's a super sweet guy, till you back him in a corner. But he's super sweet. And this is what's weird, because her scenario implies he cheated. That's the scenario. However, it just looked like WTF. Like, really, that's what we're gonna do here?
Right.
I think it's hard not to be upset in regards to your husband cheating. But I completely disagree with the way Melody put Martell on the spot. I felt poorly for him.
When I was speaking my truth about the term that I gave Tisha, her response was just negative right off the rip. If I'm telling you about a conversation we've had where it's been made clear that you felt a certain way because I was doing this or that, and we weren't kicking it as much, and I'm like, it wasn't you, I had no problem with you, I had personal things going on. You were privy to that conversation. She was like, as if it never happened.
And that's fair.
And I wish you had spoken up, Kimmi.
Well, that comes from Kimmi, we don't want you in the middle. Y'all gotta make up your mind where that rule applies and when it doesn't
I don't want you in
apply.
the middle, I just want you to tell the truth.
I do.
When you can.
And I do, exactly that. However, I elected to stay out of the middle because Miss Alma was handling the situation.
Okay.
And I was privy to that conversation, and I agree that that conversation happened.
But I was told that I was a liar.
Mel, like real talk,
Real talk,
think y'all
absolutely.
have y'all's own truths. And I've said this to her. I think there's times when you've said things and you believe it to be 100% true. And she doesn't feel like she's lying either. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's nothing that you can say that's gonna convince Tisha that it's not a lie.
And that's when I was like, forget it, and I left. I'm really just trying to keep myself calm, peaceful, together, and move forward with the positive relationships that are meant for me to move forward with. I don't have time for the BS. I'm dealing with Martell. I got that to deal with. You know he has a baby on the way.
Is that true?
It is true. Golly. Girl, that's why I'm so done. Like, it's like, goodbye. And I'm tired of it. And then he thinks he can disrespect me. First of all, you disrespected me for years. Let's be clear on that. You kept up. Nobody but you. You kept doing that. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna keep being disrespectful. Who the you think you are? And it's like, I'm to the point where I'm just like, I don't want to talk to your demons because that's where you're coming from right now. This should have been over. And I'm so for real. And I didn't want it to. I promise I didn't want all this extra shit. I just wanted it to be over. You go, I go. We do what we got to do with the kids and just let it be over. And he just makes every day a living hell. If any way possible that he can. It just makes me feel like I just want to get my kids and leave. Just leave and change my number. Don't tell nobody just so I can have peace. This is not what I want for my life. This is not what I want for my children. I don't want the stress. I don't want the drama. I want what's best for us. And I want things to end amicably. Like, I don't understand. I don't know why Martell can't just feel the same way. Kimmi, I'm sorry. I know Martell, good guy. He ain't.
You ain't gotta apologize to me.
And only you would know the true him. You've been married to him and you know the good, the bad, and the ugly.
First of all, why the hell you care who I'm entertaining or sleeping with? You got a whole baby on the way that you need to be focused on and worried
He has a
about.
baby for real, for real?
For real, for real. That's what he needs to be focused and worried about. And that ain't got shit to do with me. You better handle that over there with your by yourself.
He's just trying to make you like a whole slut out here, pretty much.
He called me a hoe.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
He called me a hoe. And then you wonder why I have no respect for you. Because you ain't what?
How do you feel
Wait,
like
no,
you keep
you
saying
ain't
you want your wife, you want your family, but you keep saying stupid that doesn't bring you back to your
We just told
family?
him, it was like words you cannot take back. Once you put it out there, you can't take it back.
That's facts. He could move this thing along. He don't even have an attorney right now anymore.
Because he don't want it. He want his cake and eat it too. I love Tell, that's my boy, but you can't keep doing that.
Because at the end of the day, it's the kids.
It is.
You have to think about the kids.
Yep, I do. And you know what? I love seeing my kids happy when they're with me. Yeah, we have a good time.
I'm sorry. I'd be glad when everybody is kind of like on a good space. Like on a good space where you don't have to feel that way. You know what I'm saying? I feel poorly. I feel poorly.
You have to be adults.
Yeah, Martell ain't about to change. I'm sorry. It's okay right now. So it's nice to have Kimmi as a friend that I can confide in. I wish she had kind of reached out to me back when she found out he was cheating on me, when I really, really, really needed a friend. But, you know, hey, better late than never, right?
Kimmi, I wasn't hearing from you while I was going through all of this. No, we don't talk a lot. So it didn't seem as genuine to just out and call you like and want to know your business.
Not necessarily you calling being in my business, but even just like, you know, hey Mel, listen, I know you're going through something. I just want you to know that if you ever need someone to vent to, I am here and I am praying for you. You know, and that never happened. And I was a little disappointed in that. I was like, because I'm that person.
It actually did happen. I did text you and I said to you, I'm really sorry about what you're going through, and if I can help, then, you know, feel free.
Kimmi did reach out via a text message. And to be honest, this kind of situation is more like pick up the phone, girl, and call me. You know what I'm saying? Texting me kind of feels like you don't really care.
You know, you always kind of look like you got it all together and that you all in your zone.
And that's the people,
all in your space.
and that's the people that you have to check on. Check on your strong friends.
I apologize if that's how you felt, because I would have never thought that that's how you felt. Honestly. Are you good? How are you today? Like, are you good?
Today I'm good.
So it's like a day by day thing. You're welcome.
You need the lamp to take. 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 You need the lamp to take.
And I think it was like $1,000 reward for her or something like that for her arrest.
I don't even know how I can help her. You know, Maurice ain't that kind of attorney.
Yeah, I pull up, roll the window down it. I pull up,